All right, so this episode of My Hero Academia was a pretty cool one. We opened up with a bit on Gentle, talking about some of the legends in hero society, both hero and villain. And when it comes to the hero side of the equation, he goes into specifics with All Might, but then everyone else is kind of just silhouetted. And I'm not gonna hold you, I don't know who most of these people are. Two people that I can immediately recognize, besides All Might herself, of course, would be Best Jeanist, and then my girl, who has not been officially released in the anime thus far, but I am really excited to see her later on this season. So, I'm glad that she is amongst the legends. However, it is a little bit interesting to me that I don't see Endeavor up here. You would think that Endeavor would be amongst some of the greatest heroes of all time. And I'm kind of surprised Best Jeanist is even up there, to be honest with you. I know he's a pretty good hero, he's remarkable, he's in the top 5, but I don't know, he's never struck me as that superb, that amazing. My girl, on the other hand, yeah, she belongs up there, and I'm glad that she has been cemented as a legend across hero history, I guess. And then for the villains, we of course have the evil mastermind himself, All for One. And then we have two villains who we have yet to see at this point in the story thus far. We have Destro of the Metal Liberation Army, and then we have the Peerless Thief, OG Harima. And the name OG goes hard, and this guy's character design goes hard too. So there's certainly a history of villainy that we have yet to see at this point in the story that I am very curious to see. I mean, the lore to be explored from the progression of this superhuman society is very fascinating. And Gentle makes it very clear that he wants to be amongst these names, that he wants to be a legend in his own right. And he's going about it in a way that is rather unorthodox. He wants to be original and bring something new and fresh to the table that these legends have never done before. And like La Brava, it's kind of hard not to root for the guy. He is so charming and just suave. He is definitely over the top, but in a controlled manner. He knows what he's doing. Like, he labels himself gentle criminal, but at the same time, he is more so just challenging the status quo and what is the norm, and once again bringing the distinction of hero or villain into a questionable place. And to be fair, although he's kind of more so a prankster than a villain, what he is doing is in of itself illegal, as he is using his quirk without regulation, which once again stands to be a big question mark on the current state of society, which I love to see. But after that, we get to our regularly scheduled programming with the UA kids, and they are very excited about this festival and planning things out. And this is something that the General Studies kids actually learned about. They heard that Class 1A is throwing a concert, and doing so with the General Studies kids in mind, as they themselves have become unexpected casualties of the situations that Class 1A and now Class 1B have found themselves in over the course of this year. And so the General Studies kids are kind of hesitant to accept that sort of gesture and harbor a bit of animosity against the Hero Studies kids simply because they feel like they don't recognize the severity of their actions. But moving past that, we have the Class 1A kids deciding what their roles will be in this thing. And as it turns out, Bakugo is really good at playing drums. However, he is reluctant to join. He doesn't want to help them out simply because they're intending on appeasing the General Studies kids. And although Bakugo doesn't really have a way with words and has a razor blade for a tongue, usually his sentiments are pretty noteworthy, and that's definitely the case here because he wants to kill it. If he's going to be a part of this thing, they have to go in with the intentions of killing it. And I can definitely see where he's coming from because especially in the realm of music, if you're just making things for the sake of appeasing or appealing to people, you're not really bringing your heart and soul into it. But instead, if you decide you're just gonna give it your all, go crazy, and if they like it, they like it. If they love it, they love it. If they hate it, they hate it. Who cares? You're gonna do it. Then you can end up making incredible works of art. And quickly from there, we shoot back to Gentle, who is alluding to disrupting the peace at UA. So yet another villain attack is coming UA's way, and that is very exciting. After that, we have the continued division of roles. We have Momo over on piano, And then in terms of theatrics, we have Oyama, Hiroshima, and Shoto doing some spectacular light show stuff. But beyond all that, the most significant role pick here would have to be Jiro on vocals, and we get a little taste of her singing. And like it was good, but I just like immediately bursted out laughing because she immediately ditches Japanese and just goes straight on English. And so a part of me is very curious as to why that is the case. I mean, I've seen this sort of thing be done across various anime at this point. I remember Dr. Stone especially having this be the case. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe something similar happened when we were saving Eri as well. So I don't know what's going on here. I'm not complaining. It sounded good, but it was a little jarring. After that, we have Kaminari on guitar, and Mineta attempts to go on bass, but his hands are just too little. He can't reach the strings or the chords. And he says how his character design is to blame, which made me realize, like, I understand why you guys say Mineta is king, why Mineta is the most powerful character in the series and in Class 1A, simply because he was able to break the fourth wall here. That's like twice level power. But because he can't do it, Tokoyami takes over. And I can't even lie, the last segment of this episode had me feeling hot, man. Like, I had just made a video. I just put out a video talking about how All Might has barely trained Deku at all. And here we have at the end of this episode, All Might doing some training with Deku. And to be honest, I did not remember this happening in the manga at all. It's just a whole oversight on my part. So I apologize profusely. However, like, in my own defense, I suppose, this arc of the manga, or just the series in general, was kind of just a little boring for me. I mean, I'm not in the camp that considers this sort of thing filler, because I understand why it exists. I understand that it is important for the success and popularity of the series, because a lot of fans do gravitate towards the more slice of life oriented content, but that's just not me. I love the lore, and I'd much rather see them fight and stuff like that. I mean, if I want to see a slice of life, I will go to a slice of life series, which obviously I do enjoy because slice of otaku, I mean, come on. But if I'm watching a shonen, I want shonen tropes. I want that fighting. I want that action. So this kind of stuff doesn't really do it for me and kind of makes me a little bored when I'm watching this stuff. So if I overlook this segment of the series, then I guess that's to blame. But Gentle definitely salvages all that for me anyways, so this arc isn't bad to me by any means, which is why I'm continuing to cover it. But anyways, Deku laments over the fact that he was limited to 20% of his power against Chisaki and ended up having to rely on Eri to be a hospital on his back. And he attributes a big fault in his strategy to be a lack of a long-range attack. And so All Might goes on to teach him how to do something like that. And it was really cool to see Deku reflect on all of the things he's learned over the course of the series and couple them all into this new technique and this new facet of his power. And it's cool that even when All Might is vague and keeps things simple teaching wise, Deku, being the smart kid that he is able to then take that information, that little bit of information, and fully flesh it out for himself and figure it all out because he is a thinker. However, I would go as far as to argue that Deku is written to be smart, but he's not actually all that smart, especially when it comes to his power. I mean, he's already done this. He has already done this, like from the sports festival against Shoto, when he used his fingers in the same way and broke Shoto's icicles and pushed Shoto back and such. To be fair, he was breaking his limbs with it, but I don't see how you wouldn't automatically attribute your learnings in terms of controlling your power to doing something like that that was normal and intuitive to you from the beginning. So it's a little wonky and kind of too much of a stretch for me to congratulate him over this simply because he's already been doing this. But whatever, I guess it's to make things abundantly clear, so if we do see it in the near future, it wouldn't raise any eyebrows. And after that, we have a brief shot of Eri approaching Yue. But there's a bit more than that, because after the ending, we get a bit from Gentle, where he's kind of just talking his shit and saying how the next job is going to shake society to its core, which once again is just building up more hype for him to head over to UA. But yeah, that was the episode. It was more so just set up for what's to come with the preceding episode and the one after that, but I still liked it for what it was. And hopefully you enjoyed not only the episode, but also our video on it. And with that, if you are looking for more of some of the best My Hero Academia content on the platform, be sure to subscribe to the channel because Plot Armor has you covered. As always, I am Slice of Otaku. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.